And welcome to Tabletop 24. I'm Alan.
I'm John.
I'm Brian.
And welcome to another episode of We'll Play Again, where we take a look at games we've recently got to the table, with a view of how quickly we get them back to the table. With ever-growing collections, time can be precious, so we answer the question of, would we play again? Today we have Steam Up, a Feast of Dim Sum from Hot Banana Games. In Steam Up, we are going to be playing one of the 12 zodiac creatures from the Chinese calendar, where we are competing to get as much of this glorious dim sum as we can, putting it on our board and scoring as many hearty points as we can. The game will go through a number of rounds, and it will end either when the last fortune card has been revealed or when our Steamer counter reaches 0. On your turn, you can do 2 actions, and they have to be 2 different actions from a possible of 5. First action is going to be gaining one of these food tokens. This is going to help us gain some of these steamers. We can gain a fate card. We can rotate the board 90 degrees in either direction. We can play one of our fate cards and rotate the board 90 degrees in either direction. Or we can discard 2 of our fate cards to take a food token. That can be really handy when you want to gain 2 food tokens in a turn and obviously can't gain them from the same thing. And spend our food tokens equal to the number of items that are in there and the right items to take that steamer. So for instance, should I have had these tokens to start with, I could take that steamer and then I place my dim sum on my board, scoring the points that it covers. So for instance here, I would be scoring a total of 6 points. So that's there. We reduce the steamer counter by 1, which should be pushing us towards the end game. All of our boards are slightly different. They have some asymmetric player powers. I can do things with the lucky die, and all the others have slightly different abilities. We also have different points printed on our boards. So depending upon what we have, depends on what we need. So my character, if I'm too full, I'm not getting any points for filling up that. So I've got to really diversify. Keep going until we've reached one of those 2 endgame conditions. Now the fortune card will sort of set the scene for the round. It might give us a benefit, a negative, or just change how we're going to be doing things for this round. But that is how we will push through. Play with the most points at the end of the game wins. At the end of the game, you will lose 2 points. Lose a point for every 2 of these tokens you have left over, you've not spent, and gain a point for every 2 of your fate cards that you've got. So there's a little bit of their sort of resource management as you go through the end. But the one thing you can't get away from on this game is the components.
Yeah, it looks the lazy Susan, the fact that this turns. Yeah. These little. So I had a friend who used to collect razors when I was a kid, and this reminds me of a big box of like little razors. I mean, these are absolutely fantastic. They're so tactile. They're so yeah. They remind me of gummy bears in a way, and I do have to stop myself from popping them in my mouth, if I'm really honest, because they make me hungry. But yeah, it's beautifully designed and made. It really is. You can't these steamers it's absolutely fantastic. It really is.
And I think on that it then puts on the theme.
Yeah.
And you can't get away from that. And the one thing I really, really, really like is I want this one. No, I want this one. I want this one, and so forth. And you actually doing that whole push-pull of actually rotating that round whilst you're all arguing about what you're.
Yeah, because you can sort of see what people are collecting, and so I might want to keep that away from John over there and over here. So now he can't.
Can't take it.
But they've got the next round. He'll want to push it back to him again. Yeah. So there's a little bit of putting food across the table towards you.
Yeah,
so it's quite thematic.
I've got the ability to do the same action twice, which is quite handy. So if I had enough, I could take 2 pots. And this is one of the things I think the synchronous nature of all the powers can be a bit lopsided in some manner.
Yeah, not all the powers seem to be.
Some are created more equal than others.
Yeah, and also the scoring tracks are more equal than others as well. Yeah. So my character, for example, I get 1 point regardless of how many I get until right at the end when I get 2 points. So someone like your character there, you're starting at 2 points within the first or second.
I've got 3s on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your ability there is allowing you to gain points based on what you've already got as well.
Exactly,
So, it's trying to balance that out. And I think from a beginner standpoint, you might not understand how to pair those two together.
Yeah. I think it would have been nice if there was just a base game where everybody had the same power and everybody played in the same way.
Yeah. You're right, yes. Because I think otherwise you're not quite sure how to use your cards. And I think you have to play it quite a few times to kind of get to grips with that and play different characters as well.
I mean, because the fact that all yours are 1, but mine go up to 3, I just think there's a bit of inequality there.
Yeah, and it is quite difficult. And you're then down to a little bit of luck of some of these fortune cards that you might draw something that you're just not interested in using. Or you might draw something that absolutely blows your game wide open. And there's a lot of cards in the deck, so getting hold of it is going to be quite challenging. I mean, just by happenstance here, I've picked up 2 of the same card in the draw that we've had. So you could end up with that, and I could potentially use one of them, but not the other. And yeah, you do change it up. And I've got the first play marker. I would have started the game with the first play marker. That card at this precise moment is useless to me. So yeah, I could swap it in for an extra food token, and that gives me a bit of an advantage there. But I think there's a little bit of luck with that. The player powers, if you're not quite familiar with it, can kind of sort of push you out of the game a little bit, I think. But on the flip side of that, the actions that you take are very tight. Being only able to take 2 actions, being only able to take different actions each turn, unless you're the horse, it's quite big.
Yeah.
You really have to plan it. Sort of that scythe nature, where you can't do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
One of the games that I compared this a lot to is Takenoko, and in Takenoko is exactly the same. You have 1 of 2 actions. Or if you've got the ability to, the same one. But going back to what I was saying about it almost needs the asynchronous card, and on the other side, the base where everybody's is the same. That's all it needed. That's all it needed.
Even just for an introductory game, I think it is quick and light that you can get it through. I think we played our games in about 30 minutes, so it's not asking a lot from the time on it. But I think you could get some people that come in and just they don't sync with the characters that they've got. Now, I think there are a couple of recommendations of characters to use, but if they're against somebody that knows how to use the horse's double ability, they're gonna really struggle. And I think having something where everybody's a bit more equal might, as a standard, might be nice. And normally with that, I'm not a big fan of bloat in a game. I like a lot of stuff in a game. I like these deluxe components, and yes, I've backed numerous Kickstarters all in type thing. But just having that bog standard thing, I think we play up to 5. So having just 5 additional boards that are just blank, or as John says, put them on the back.
I think it can't. I mean, this would sing to an entry level game for people coming into the hobby.
It is a good entry level game.
It isn't. It's so synchronous. You'll pass this, to somebody, and they go, "Well, I'm playing different to you." Some people need that, just to be able to see what other people are doing, and because it's so different, I don't think it really stands out in that field for me.
Yeah, at least for a first game. I mean, because you couldn't even say, right, ignore player abilities.
Yeah.
Because the big boards are not printed equal.
And they're all quite different.
To be honest, I'd be annoyed if I got that dog one where it was all 1. I really would.
Well, I think one of my first times playing was with the grandpa. They bought the ox, and it's all 1. There's no way, and the idea is in this one is that you should be able to gain more food faster than everybody else, so you can go up. But in practice, it was still quite hard to do.
Yeah, and then vice versa in one of our games, I just kept picking up cards, and I think I gained like 10 points off of cards at the end of the game. So it's something stupid like that. Sorry, 5 points off of 10 cards, which can be enough to swing the game quite heavily in your favour. So there are a few different routes to it, but I think it does suffer a little bit from that entry, which is a bit odd coming from me, because I like more complex games. I like things that are going to challenge me, but I think there is that, is this fair conversation of asynchronous play powers, and you always sit there and go, oh yeah, I'd like what you've got, but then everybody does that. But I think you've got that little bit of, I don't know. It does feel there is that bit feel bad, isn't there? Sometimes when some of these come out.
Yeah. The other thing that's a pity is the first player marker. Pity isn't actually a bowl of noodles.
I think the thing is the one thing you cannot take away from this is how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
from an introductory game, I know what we've said about the player powers, but from an introductory game, this shows people what a hobby game
Can be.
Yeah. It shows you what quality you can have, what sort of things go on in these type of games. And yeah, you have got a few extra bits, and it's not that deep.
The tactile nature of the game, the fact that you're removing these and the state of the board's changing, and also that it's rotating. I think most people, if they've only ever played Scrabble, Cluedo, or Monopoly, they'll see this and go, "Wow!" This really, like you say, this really does show off hobby gaming to its full potential. But what you were going to say on depth, it is as deep as a bowl of noodles. It really is. Yeah. Unfortunately,
you are only doing a few actions. You are gaining points off of what you gain. I think it sits in a really odd place for me that it's a big box with all these grandiose components, but it's a short play time. There's not much going on here. I think we will get through it quite quickly, and I think there was a lot of time where we were just rattling through our actions.
Yeah. I mean, these are the deluxe components.
Yeah.
And the basic game, they're sort of cardboard.
Yeah.
Components.
They're not bad components either.
No, they're not.
They're still good. It's a thick cardboard, good tactile things. But I think what makes it for me is these components, and without those, I'd be even less likely to want to play it. I think.
Yeah. It feels a niche, but I've got other games in my collection that feel the niche better and are better games.
Yeah, and I think that's the struggle here. Of if I was new to the hobby, seeing something like this, I would be inclined to pick it up.
Yeah,
and it probably 3-4 years ago would have been the game that I would have banged on about for months and months on end.
Yeah,
but I think the point, particularly we're in our sort of hobby life, I think it does struggle. And it will struggle to hit the table again for us.
The ooze,
I still think it's nice.
The oohs and the ahs and the wow, that's neat. For first playing it, I quickly.
Yeah, I think if you're playing this sort of table at a convention, people will walk past the table and go, "Oh, that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
What have you got there?"
I was just about to say the same. I think actually where this might fill a slot in my collection is for a convention game.
Yeah,
it's quick enough that you could get anybody to sit down and play it.
Cool.
Play 5 players. The teach is probably 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think
that's
it probably sits in that camp. But I would feel that it's not going to be something that you would organise to play at a convention. It'd just be a happen chance that somebody's playing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with all that being said, John, would you play again?
I'd hesitate to play again, unfortunately. If it came out, I'd probably play it, but it's not one that I'd look to go to the shelf to pull off to play.
Same, I hesitate to play it again. It's interesting, it's attractive, but it's not quite enough of a game for me.
Yeah.
I would play again, and I think the main part of that is because it's in my collection. I will possibly be taking it to conventions to try that out and see whether that's a route to the table for it. But I do think with these guys, I think I'm going to struggle to get these guys to play it again. And I think that's the piece of actually there's other games out there. We've recently done a War Play game for Gonza Index. I think we get that to the table quicker than we would this. Yeah. And I think that's where this sits for us. You cannot take away how beautiful this game is and the production quality.
It's glory. I mean, the volume of these. The other thing to mention is you fill some of the steams with 2, some with 3, some with 4. Now there's no random way other than you pick them up and put them in and then stack them up.
Yeah. Which
is a bit odd. So if you've got a great memory, you can remember which ones have got 2 and 3 or whatever in.
The idea we've got this, badly can't see into it and you pull them out, but you can still feel.
Yeah, you can tell what they are
between the two.
Yeah, but even in that, and this was a good point actually. It's something that I did forget to mention. The setup for this of how you set these up. So you've got 6 with 2, 6 with 3, 6 with 4. Yeah. You cannot randomise that. There's no way. It's not like you've got lids on these that you can.
If you're pulling them out of the bag, you're doing them one by one, two in that one, two in that one, two in that one, and it's better just to get a pile and just.
Which is fine. You can do that to randomise what goes in them, but then you can't randomise what order they go in. Because you don't. It's not like you stack them in a specific order. It just says randomise.
An unscrupulous player in setup could load these in such a way to optimise them.
Yeah.
They could.
Yeah. I think he'd take a very certain type of person.
Yeah. Not we. Yes, we don't know anybody that would, but I'm just saying if the potential is there.
Okay, we've laboured on that a little bit, probably a bit too long. So, thank you for watching along with this. If you haven't done this already, please check out the videos on the channel. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Take care.
Cheers.
Goodbye.